The NFL Draft, a place where 32 franchises look for their next cornerstone piece. Oftentimes, teams are hunting for their new quarterback. Sometimes they're looking for a wall of a left tackle to support that quarterback. Or in the case of this man right here, maybe they're just after a dominant game wrecker of an edge rusher. Allow me to introduce you to David Bailey, the man who took college football by storm this past season, recording 14.5 sacks and leading one of the best defenses in the entire country. So right away, when you watch this film, you will notice a lightning quick first step. It's like this man has rockets strapped to the back of his cleats and he is shooting forward with every step that he takes. He also has extremely strong hands and a great rip move, but he's not afraid to dig into his bag. The spin move is a real asset for him if a tackle is able to kick out fast enough to stop his looping routes. He also plays the run very well, particularly with his backside pursuit. He might not be 280 pounds, but he's not undersized, and his desire, tenacity, and workman-like attitude, combined with his range of skills, make him a very good edge setter. What you love about him is his attitude. There are no wasted movements and no emotion with him. Whether he just got a strip sack, whether the defense just gave up a 40-yard bomb, you would never be able to tell by looking at him. When games are being won, when games are being lost, when they're hanging in the balance, he always looks exactly the same. Watch that Oregon if you want to see the definition of a takeover defensive player. Blowing up passing plays, sacks, fourth down stops, batted passes, dominating future NFL tackles. Clearly, he's going to be an NFL cornerstone. And in the modern NFL, where there is so much value placed on the quarterbacks, what is the most important position on defense? How about the guy with the straight line to the quarterback? The ability to get that quarterback on the ground, get your defense off the field, and put the ball back into your offense's hands. David Bailey is clearly one of the top prospects in the NFL draft. But as the big day continues to draw nearer and nearer, and he continues to be ranked against his peers, along with players at other positions, there's one big question that everybody is asking themselves. How good is David Bailey, and where is he going to end up? I don't have the answer, but I will give you my thoughts on this player and where I rank him amongst the other edge rushers in this class. But before we turn to any of his statistical information, let's take a listen to David himself.
I know you've talked about your focus obviously is on the team and what you're doing that's directly in front of you, but what does it mean to you, or how do you react when you see your name as being, first round of mock drafts? Your name's in several first rounds of mock drafts to be in that position, likely come here in the next few months.
Yeah, I'm just super grateful. I'm in debt to like everybody that's helped me out for football. Since youth ball, all the way to here. So I feel like everybody that's helped me along the journey, I'm forever in debt to them. It's just a crazy feeling.
A very humble and well-spoken man, which you should expect from someone who started their college career at Stanford. Yes, he comes with intelligence, and that will manifest itself on and off the field. But before we get any further, let's take a look at his numbers. So Mr. David Bailey is coming off of a season in which he recorded 52 tackles, 32 of those being solo tackles. He registered an elite 14.5 sacks, 3 pass deflections, and 81 pressures. That 81 pressure number was second in the nation to Rueben Bain's 83. However, he did it in 180 fewer pass rushing reps than the Miami player. He only gave up 0.58 yards per coverage snap of 198 coverage snaps in his career. He has surprisingly good instincts back there, and he would most likely be best used in the NFL as an outside linebacker in a 3-4. You obviously want him rushing the passer more times than not, but when you do drop 8, or if you are getting the sim pressures and you want to pull him back, he has shown that he has the instincts to hold up when he is in coverage. He also had the highest win rate on true passing sets among P4 edges at an insane 38.6%. For comparison, Rueben Bain was 8.3 percentage points lower at 30.3, which is still phenomenal, out of this world, yet it didn't come close to living up to what David Bailey did at Texas Tech. On top of his exploits as a pass rusher, he was also 13th in run-stop win rate among all P4 edges. Concern about his size is silly. This is a classic case of people trying to nitpick what is obviously a very good prospect. Calling someone with this height and weight too small is ridiculous when you consider that Will Anderson Jr. and Micah Parsons, perennial all-pro contenders in the NFL, they are the exact same size. So is he 25 pounds lighter than Rueben Bain? Yes. Does that mean that he is small? Does that mean that he is undersized? Of course not. So with that basic understanding out of the way, let's talk about my best fits for David Bailey in the NFL. Here on the news screen, I have 3 teams laid out for where I believe David Bailey would fit in the best, and where I personally would like to see him playing his professional football. My number 3 team is the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins have been begging for help for years. And is it somewhat their fault that they command such large contracts? To a certain extent, but everyone knows that the front office has not done a great job of surrounding them with talent, particularly on the defensive side of the football. I do not expect the Bengals to re-sign Trey Hendrickson because of his age and contract size, which means that they have a glaring need at edge rusher, even though they have a need basically everywhere on their defense. The team drafted Shamar Stewart, another edge rusher out of Texas A&M with the 17th pick last year, but Shamar only totaled 11 tackles and 1 sack in 8 games as a rookie. He was mostly anonymous when he was out on the field. It's only a small step in the right direction, but it would prove the Bengals have a modicum of competency if they took him. My number 2 team for David Bailey is the Washington Commanders. Watching the Commanders' defense last year was a form of cruel and unusual punishment. They were 31st in EPA per dropback. Injuries played a huge part down the stretch, but even when healthy, they weren't getting much if they weren't blitzing extra men or if Dorrance Armstrong wasn't getting home on his own. Bailey will not only give them balance on the line and an expected aggressive style with new defensive coordinator Durante Jones, but it alleviates pressure on the back end until they get their secondary right. Washington has a lot of money to spend in free agency, and the draft, of course, is happening after free agency, so we will see how their roster shakes up, but you can never have too much pass rushing juice in the NFL, and David Bailey would absolutely provide that for them. My number 1 team for David Bailey is the team that is picking 4th in the draft, the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee was actually 9th in sack percentage last year, but this selection would solidify their front line with Jeffrey Simmons. The Titans were only 28th in defensive EPA per play and 29th in EPA per dropback in 2025. Adding a guy with an art for getting to the quarterback to this group makes them a legitimately impactful unit. He would be great for new head coach Robert Saleh, and you need the defense to take the pressure off of Cam Ward. If you want to take a step in that direction, this is how you do it. Go out there and draft the guy who got to the quarterback more than any other player in college football last season and set him on your front line, let him pin his ears back, and let him take games over. It's obvious that David Bailey is a phenomenal player. Where is he going to end up in this draft? Nobody knows. I have him ranked as my top edge rusher, narrowly beating out Rueben Bain, and I do think that the upside he offers as a true pass rusher, even if he's not quite the run defender as Bain is, he's still good against the run, but he could take over games and seasons with his pass rushing ability. Micah Parsons just got $47 million per year on his latest contract. That should not come as a surprise when you evaluate the landscape of the NFL. Having that top tier pass rusher who might just be able to get you 20 sacks in a season is what separates the good teams from the great teams and the teams that have a chance from those that do not. So that's going to do it for this video and this report on David Bailey. Make sure that you hit the like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new around here. We are going to have all sorts of videos relating to the NFL draft up until it happens, and we got a whole lot more planned after that as well. Throw your thoughts about David Bailey down in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree that he is the #1 edge rusher in this class? Whatever you have, make sure it is in the comment section below. I appreciate you all joining us, and we will catch you in the next one.